call our council meeting together, this regular session of our city council meeting. We note that all council members are present and we have a full quorum. The opening ceremony today will be conducted by Councilman Bueller.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to invite those who are here to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have here with us tonight a scout troop visiting, and we would invite one of their young men to come up. They've designated and tell us your troop number, your schools that you attend, and then what you're working on, which merit badge. Come forward right here to this microphone in the front. Thank you.
We are Troop 727. I go to Fox Hills Elementary, and we are represented by the Constitution Ward.
And what are you working on here tonight?
We are working on our citizenship in the community.
Merit badge. Okay. Thank you very much. And I believe that's the only group here. Next on our agenda is the minutes of February 14th, our regular meeting, to the council for discussion or action.
Motion to approve minute February 18, 2014.
We have a motion before us. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. So the motion is properly before us to approve the minutes of February 18th. Any discussion to that? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Next, we come to our comment period for the public, and I did not notice anyone on the list back there. Is that correct? No one signed up to take a couple of minutes to speak? Okay. Then we'll move forward from that to any comments from our city manager.
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you to the city council. Any comments? Councilman Vincent.
Just a comment to the scouts. We had a former council member here, Dr. Don Christensen, who had been the principal at Fox Hills many years ago. So there was kind of a connection there between our council and Fox Hills.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Any further comments? Then we will go to item number 7 on our agenda, resolutions. And for these we will, wait a minute, let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, we will turn now to, for introduction of these, to our city manager, beginning with Resolution 1431. Mr. Pyle.
Thank you, sir. So we have here a change order that we're proposing to the Lund Park to Brighton Canal Storm Drain Project. This change order is for connecting an undiscovered parking lot storm drain that was found in the middle of the project. The funds would come from the storm drain utility in the amount of $42,803.38.
Thank you. For the information of our scouts and other visitors, these are items that have been previously discussed in our study meeting last week, so they are not new to the council. So if we don't discuss them a lot, don't be too surprised, because we have gone into detail asking for background and clarification on them. So the resolution is before us. Any discussion on the council or questions?
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 14-31.
Second?
We have a motion and a second before us. The motion is properly completed to approve Resolution 14-31 with Nolan and Sons Construction Company. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place the motion for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pyle, Resolution 1432.
Thank you, sir. This resolution pertains to the 6400 West Extension project that's currently being finished up, and we are asking for an agreement for right-of-way and easements, special warranty deed, wall and slope easement, and grant a temporary construction easement for a parcel located at 6426 West Parkway Boulevard. This is to acquire and is compensation for the acquisition of 19,801 square feet of right-of-way in that area, and in the amount of $70,500 of state funds supplied for the project.
Thank you very much. To the council then.
Mayor,
Councilman Rushton.
I would move that we approve Resolution 1432.
We have a motion before us.
Second?
We have a second. Motion is properly before us. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, we will place the motion for a vote. All in favor of motion 14-32 for a right-of-way and easement agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pyle, Resolution 1433.
Thank you, sir. This resolution is also associated with the 6400 West Extension project and is another property acquisition. This one's a much smaller one. It's an acquisition of 2,206 square feet of property located at 6490 West Parkway, and we would be compensating the owner in the amount of $5,700 also from that same state funding for the project.
Thank you very much. To the council.
I would move for approval of Resolution 14-33.
We have a motion before us. A second?
Second.
We have a second. The motion is properly before us to approve Resolution 14-33. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will place this motion to approve Resolution 14-33 for a right-of-way agreement on Parkway Boulevard. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pyle, Resolution 14-36.
Thank you, sir. This resolution would grant temporary access or an easement for that purpose at 4451 South and 5400 West from Mr. Terry Rushton and Ms. Jackie L. Rushton for the purposes of removing a historic granary there on the site, which we would be moving to a city-located property.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pyle. To the council then, any discussion or action?
Comment and main motion. Corey, is that your cousin?
This is actually my mother and father.
Was that right?
Yeah.
I will do that.
The second one is my cousin. As the granary is located about 60% on my parents' property and about the other 40% on the cousin's properties.
I will do it for your mom and dad. Okay. Motion to approve Resolution 14-36.
We have a motion before us. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second to this motion. Discussion to this motion. Perhaps just a couple of comments to add. This was not on our formal agenda last week, but has been an item of discussion for the council for a period of time in an effort to preserve this historic structure and place it on city property for preservation. There are not a lot of those that we've been able to do in West Valley City. At least I haven't seen very many. We have one house on a historic register, and so it certainly befits our city to do some preservation. So although it's not been on our previous agendas, it's one that we've been familiar with for a period of time and want to act on quickly in order to preserve that structure. So further discussion, seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of the motion to approve Resolution 14-36, temporary easement for removal of a historic log granary structure, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pyle, Resolution 14-37.
Thank you, sir. This is also a grant of temporary access easement and is granted to Mr. Craig D. Rushton, as Councilman Rushton mentioned earlier. I think it would also be interesting to note that as we're moving this granary to the city property, there's no fiscal impact. There are no city funds being used for that. There is, of course, costs that's associated with the movement and placement, but that has been generously granted and donated, or through generously granted and donated funds.
Thank you very much. This just completes the other portion of this temporary access and easement.
Correct.
To do that. So these two are tied together. Then to the council for discussion or action.
So if we don't approve this resolution, we only get 60% of the granary?
Or the city just has to stay on.
Or being
half of it.
trespassed around the other side?
Yeah, pick it
I
up.
think we better approve it, so Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 14-37.
We have a motion to approve. A second?
Second.
We have a second. Motion is properly before us. Any discussion to the motion? Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve Resolution 14-37 to approve an easement, temporary access easement to get to this historic granary and move it to city property, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll now go to item number 8 on our consent agenda. Mr. Pyle?
Thank you, sir. We have 2 items on the consent agenda this evening. One is a simple storm drain easement, and the other, though, is a particular note. It's the appointment of a new member of our planning commission, and this is Ms. Latai Tupo, and she's here with us this evening, so I thought I would point that out. She was kind enough to spend a little bit of her time this evening to be present for the action.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. Do we normally have
Mayor, what I would do is I would move that we approve the 2 items of the consent agenda, but also with that, suspend our rules and ask Ms. Tupoa to come up to the microphone and just introduce herself and her goals and her vision for the city, and
Yes.
and then we'll vote
Thank
on
you.
it.
That's what I was hoping for. Didn't quite know how to do that. Did want to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Latai. I've met most of you except probably 2, Karen and Ron. So I've lived in West Valley practically all my life. My whole family graduated from Granger. My vision for West Valley, I see a lot of great things happening in West Valley and I want to be a part of it. So that's why I'm here today.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
By the way, on that last motion, we saw no objection, so it was... See how quickly I recovered. So then further discussion, then we...
But I'll move for approval, but we need a second, I guess.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't have the second, but that's going to work out. We have the motion and it is seconded. We now have that in our records. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of ratifying or approving the consent agenda for the storm drain easement and the appointment of the city manager to the planning commission, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. That concludes the regular business of our public city council meeting. However, we do have a need for an executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation. Is that correct, Mr. Pyle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We were not able to complete that in our previous session, so we will do that. So look to the council for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move to an executive session following our two other agency meetings for potential litigation.
Second.
Okay. Now, do we need to make the motion for executive session in the regular council meeting? It does have to be here. And we can do that and have the other two meetings in succession. Okay.
One last motion, right?
And we have the motion properly before us. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, the motion is that we adjourn, hold our next two public committee meetings, and then resolve ourselves into an executive session for purposes of discussing litigation. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. We are officially adjourned from our city council meeting.
Okay, and I will call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Redevelopment. We have had an opening ceremony and roll call show that all members of the RDA are present. On February 4th, 2014, we held an exciting annual meeting, and those minutes are before the board members for their disposition and approval.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of the minutes of February 4th, 2014.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of our February 4th, 2014 annual meeting. Any discussion to that? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is, and minutes are approved unanimously. Any communication or report from our CEO tonight?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, and seeing no other business, this body will stand adjourned.
Call to order the West Valley City Housing Authority. Know that we have had an opening ceremony and that all members of this agency are present. We have one item of business, which is the approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of February 4th, 2014.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any discussion or corrections? If not, we'll call the matter for vote. All in favor of approving the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pyle, do we have any communications or report tonight?
No, sir. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Then the next item on the agenda is to adjourn, and this body will stand adjourned.
Thank you. We appreciate those of you who came here and visited us today, and we will now go into an executive session which is closed for purposes of discussing litigation, which is the fancy term for legal matters. So thank you for visiting with us tonight.